Hi, welcome back. I'm Bobby Hartzog, Sales Strategy Business Development Manager at Smart Technologies. You know, they say the magic is in the details, and for us, the magic is Smart IQ. Smart IQ is our built-in Android operating system. That's what you see on the screen right now behind me. There's no computer attached, and really the power is right here. Why is it powerful? Why do we call it magic? Because this is the stuff on day one that you can do right out of the box. So a teacher can walk into a classroom, this smart board's been recently installed, they can have success on day one with very low barrier to entry. We're really excited about that. One thing that I will tell you is this is the first part of a two-part video series, so make sure that you tune in for part two. In part two, we're going to talk about some details that we don't talk about in this part, this video, and that's video conferencing and how you can do that on the panel, talking about screen sharing, some bi-directional communication between students and teachers that's so important right now in the world that we live in. So make sure that you tune in for that. But let's talk about what we can do right out of the box, day one, with the Smart IQ system on your smart board. You'll see this is the home screen. We've got, some of those basic things, those things that you would expect, time, date, all of that. But one thing that people expect when they walk up to a smart board is, I want to be able to write on it. We've got some pens on the front. I want to be able to write on it. It should be easy. I should be able to pick up a pen and begin writing. All I've got to do is click on the whiteboard. When the whiteboard launches, you'll notice this toolbar down at the bottom of the screen. That allows me to change the background. So this is pretty exciting because I can put some lined pages on the screen. I can put dotted pages, grids. I'm going to go back to this white background. I'm going to pick up my pen. You'll notice when I start inking, it's a very thin line, but the ink automatically works. Super important to us. I'm going to go ahead and click to make this ink a more thick line so that you can see it very easily when I write on the board. What's also important to us is that you be able to do the things that you would naturally do. So if I'm walking up to a whiteboard in my classroom, a traditional whiteboard, and I want to get rid of this ink, and I look around and I don't see an eraser, I'm probably going to use my hand, right? And you can do that on our smart board. I can also pick up an eraser, because I do happen to have one handy, and use that tool as well on the board. So easy to use, simple, intuitive, it thinks the way that you think, super important to us. One thing that I want to do is I want to add some images to this page. So there's an image search button right here on the side. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to type. I'm going to look for something. What's on my mind right now? My mind is on vacation. I just got back from a ski trip, so I'm going to look for some pictures of skiers. And here's a guy. This is not what I look like on the ski slopes, not at all. But it's a good picture, so I can use gestures to resize, to reorient the picture as well. I'm going to put this up over here on the side. I'm going to go back to my image search. I'm going to type the word vacation now. Most people, when they think of vacation, they don't think of skiing. You think of that warm place, that tropical place. I'm going to choose this picture because not only would I like to be skiing, but I'd also like to be laying on a beach right about now. I'm going to put this picture down in the corner as well. And then I am going to annotate. I'm going to use the black pen now. And I'm going to make that line thick again so that we can see it. And we're talking about vacation with our students today. And I say, hey, you guys, let's go on a trip. Where are we going to go? Well, I've got these two pictures, and we got to decide between skiing and going to the beach and relaxing. Which one are we going to do? Well, I'm going to assign some numbers. I'm going to assign odd numbers, 1, 3, and 5. Whoops. I can write a 5. And I'm going to assign even numbers, 2, 4, and 6 to the ski picture. Now, how are we going to decide? Well, let's roll a dice. We've got one right here on the board. So below the image search, I've got a widget search as well. We have a dice built in, a dice widget built in. I'm going to choose that dice widget. Shows up right here on the screen. And we're going to roll the dice and decide where we're going to go on vacation. Today, we are going 5. We're going to the beach. So I may have a student come up and write where we're going. Maybe they're going to write a specific place. It doesn't really matter. But the really cool thing is I can do all of this right out of the box, right on day one. Not a whole lot of prep, and I don't have to do a lot of training. to do this. Little to no training, and I'm already ready to use my whiteboard in authentic ways with students. So now I'm finished with this page. What do I want to do next? I probably am going to add some other pages in here because I'm not going to end my lesson here. So I'm going to go over, and in this toolbar that's over here on the side of the screen, there's a plus sign. I'm going to click the plus sign. This is to add a new page. You can do several things here. One is just add a blank page. So similar to how I started. The second option that I have is to add a shout it out. And remember, there's going to be a second video. During that second video, we'll talk about things like shout it out. Shout it out is our way of bidirectional communication with students. So students that are remote learners or students that are just sitting at their desks, because we're not coming up to the board right now, they can communicate with the teacher. Really exciting stuff, and we'll talk more detail about that in the next video. I've also got some ready-made activities. So the first tab here, the purple tab, is graphic organizers. There's several graphic organizers to choose from. Below that is manipulatives, and there are several manipulatives to choose from. I'm going to choose a graphic organizer, and maybe I'm going to do a 3-column chart, and my 3-column chart is going to be a KWL chart. So what do we know? What do we want to know? And what have we learned, right? And I can have students come up to the board, they can fill this out. Maybe they're going to say, I know that going to the beach is relaxing. I know that going skiing is a lot of work. It's exercise. So they're going to fill out this column here, or maybe they're going to call out and the teacher's going to fill out the column. There's lots of things that we can do here with this graphic organizer. Very, very easy to add to the page. I just touched and it popped up. So it's pretty cool. Now, I want to take it a step further. I want to add some other elements to my lesson. I'm going to press the home button. So on the 6000S series smartboard, the one that I'm using right now, there's a home button in the bezel. On our other panels, the home button is on screen, but I'm going to press this home button to take me back to the main screen on the IQ system. And then we've got a built-in browser. So if I click on the browser, it's going to bring up this Chromium browser. I want to go to a certain website. It brings up this on-screen keyboard. I'm going to go to BrainPop because perhaps there is a BrainPop video on vacations or skiing or the beach, and I want to bring that up. The other really cool thing that I can do here is I can even ink on this page. So if I want to draw my students' attention to Moby, I can do that as well. I can erase just as I would in the whiteboard. So really cool here as well. I just use my fingers to scroll through the pages. I'm now connected to some other technology that teachers are already using, or content that teachers are already using, which is really important to make sure that they're connecting all in one place. So I'm going to press the home button one more time and take myself back to the home screen. All right, now that I'm back on the home screen, what you'll see is this recent column. The recent column has the whiteboard that we were working on earlier when we were talking about vacations, as well as the Chromium browser where we were just on brainpop.com. And it gives us an easy way to navigate back to the things that we've been using in our lesson. I've also got these favorites over here. These favorites are ones that I've pinned to the home screen because they're ones that I use a lot. It's really cool for teachers to be able to personalize their board. But how do I get apps on the board? There is a smart app store. If we press this button down at the bottom of the screen, it'll take us to apps that are currently on the board. Some of these have been pinned. You'll see the green stars in the corner. Those stars mean that they are pinned to the home screen. But if I want to add apps, I press this add button. When I do that, you'll see some apps that are already in our collection, things that we feel like you may use or search for very, very quickly. They're already here, but you can also search the web for others. So exciting way to get apps onto your board. And again, being able to pin them very, very easy on the board app page by just clicking the star in the upper left corner of the app. I'm going to go back to the home screen one more time. I'm going to mention a couple of things. One, you've probably noticed there's a Zoom app on my screen. We are going to talk about video conferencing in video 2. We're also going to talk about screen sharing. So there's a screen share button down here at the bottom. We're going to talk about that in video 2. We're also going to talk about bidirectional communication between students and teachers, which is so important in our world today. Now, remember video 2, we just talked about it. We're going to talk about video conferencing. We're going to talk about screen sharing. We're going to talk about that bidirectional communication between students and teachers. The really cool thing about everything that I just showed you is that it's all free with your hardware purchase. It all is free. There is no subscription required. I hope that you will join us for video number 2 in this series, The Magic is in the Details, to talk about video conferencing, screen sharing, and bidirectional communication between students and teachers.